Welcome to VNT. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Let's talk tariffs, those taxes countries put on imported goods. They might sound like a technical detail, but they have a huge impact on what you pay at the store, and even on the choices you make as a shopper. Imagine buying a chair from abroad. Before it enters your country, the government adds a fee, making it pricier. That extra cost doesn't just disappear, it gets baked into the price tag, so you end up paying more than you expected. Tariffs are meant to protect local industries by making foreign goods more expensive, encouraging people to buy domestic products. The idea is to give local businesses a fighting chance against cheaper imports and to keep jobs at home. But it's not that simple. The extra cost usually gets passed on to you, the consumer. Suddenly, that affordable imported chair isn't such a bargain anymore. It's not just about chairs. Tariffs affect everything from cars to phones to food. Everyday items you rely on can get caught up in this global price tug-of-war. Even your favorite gadgets or the latest smartphone can cost more because of tariffs, making technology upgrades harder on your wallet. For example, a tariff on steel makes all steel-based products more expensive. That means everything from cars to kitchen appliances to the buildings we live and work in can see price hikes. The goal is to protect jobs, but the reality is messy. Sometimes higher prices mean people buy less, which can actually hurt the very workers tariffs are supposed to help. Other countries often retaliate with their own tariffs, sparking trade wars. This back and forth can escalate quickly, affecting entire industries and global supply chains. Instead of helping, this can make everyday items more expensive for everyone. Groceries, electronics, and even basic household goods can suddenly cost a lot more. It's less an epic battle and more like neighbors throwing costly garden gnomes at each other. The result? A lot of broken gnomes, and nobody really wins. In the end, the average person pays for these economic squabbles. Families have to stretch their budgets further, and saving money becomes even harder. Tariffs are hidden costs that show up on your receipt. You might not see a tariff line, but you'll definitely feel it in your wallet. They're supposed to help local workers, but often just make life pricier. Sometimes, even local businesses struggle if they rely on imported materials. And when countries fight back, it's consumers who lose. The cycle of tariffs and retaliation can drag on, with ordinary people caught in the middle. So, tariffs, not as boring or as harmless as they sound. Next time you see a higher price tag, remember, there's a whole world of politics and policy behind it. The Trump administration made tariffs a signature part of its economic strategy, wielding them as a powerful tool to influence global trade relationships and protect American industries. Tariffs weren't just a policy, they became a statement, signaling a new era of tough negotiations and economic nationalism. In October, the administration slapped a 10% tariff on imported lumber, targeting a key material for construction and home building across the country. At the same time, a hefty 25% tariff was placed on imported furniture and kitchen cabinets, affecting everything from living rooms to new home builds. These tariffs weren't static. They were scheduled to climb even higher in the years ahead, creating uncertainty for businesses and consumers alike. The administration's goal was clear: make foreign goods so expensive that American companies would be forced to source, buy, and manufacture locally, boosting domestic production. But for builders and furniture makers, the immediate reality was a sharp spike in costs, squeezing profit margins and straining budgets. Businesses that depended on imported materials suddenly faced tough decisions. Should they pass higher costs onto customers, or absorb the losses and risk their bottom line? Even movie lovers weren't immune. There was talk of a staggering 100% tariff on foreign films, threatening to double ticket prices and limit what audiences could see. No industry was off limits. Everyday shopping trips became more complicated as consumers navigated rising prices and fewer choices on store shelves. Even entertainment and leisure activities started to feel political, as tariffs shaped what people could buy, watch, and enjoy. The message was unmistakable. Tariffs could strike any industry at any time, leaving businesses and families to brace for the next wave of rising costs. With tariffs in place, prices for lumber and furniture soared, fueling inflation and putting pressure on everyday Americans. Suddenly, the cost of basic materials and finished goods was climbing faster than most people's paychecks. Renovating your kitchen or buying a new sofa suddenly cost a lot more. forcing families to put off plans or settle for less. Even small upgrades became a luxury, out of reach for many. This wasn't just a home improvement problem, it hit families nationwide, straining household budgets and making it harder to afford the things that make a house a home. Businesses faced shrinking profits and tough decisions: lay off workers, freeze wages, or risk going under. Owners worried about keeping the lights on, while employees feared for their jobs. For every job saved in a lumber mill, another could be lost in construction or furniture manufacturing. The gains in one sector were often offset by losses in another, creating a cycle of uncertainty. Small businesses relying on affordable imports were especially vulnerable. Many struggled to keep shelves stocked or doors open, squeezed by higher costs and fewer customers. Tariffs created uncertainty, making it hard for companies to plan or invest. Long-term projects were put on hold, and expansion plans were shelved as leaders waited for clarity. The threat of new tariffs kept everyone on edge, with each news alert sparking fresh anxiety in boardrooms and break rooms alike. Instability slowed economic growth and stifled job creation. Fewer opportunities meant more people struggling to find work or advance in their careers. The ripple effects went far beyond higher prices. They threatened livelihoods, dreams, and the sense of security that steady work brings. Tariffs, meant to protect, often ended up hurting the very people they were supposed to help, leaving communities searching for answers and a way forward. Not everyone accepted these tariffs quietly. 12 states and a coalition of businesses took the Trump administration to court. Their argument: the president had overstepped, using emergency powers meant for real crises to impose sweeping economic changes. Businesses faced existential threats, with tariffs threatening to wipe out entire industries. States saw jobs lost, businesses closing, and local economies suffering. The lawsuit wasn't just about money, it was about the limits of presidential power. They argued that only Congress should make such big decisions on trade. This was more than a trade dispute. It was a fight over the Constitution. The stakes: economic survival and the balance of power in government. The case reached the Supreme Court, raising a crucial question. Can the president unilaterally impose massive tariffs without Congress? The administration argued that emergency laws gave the president broad authority to act fast. Opponents warned this would sideline Congress and create an economic monarchy. The justices had to decide where presidential power ends and congressional authority begins. Their ruling: the president had gone too far. The court struck down the tariffs, reaffirming that Congress, not the president, sets trade policy. This decision set a powerful precedent, limiting executive power. It was a landmark moment for the separation of powers. The ruling sent a clear message: even the president must follow the Constitution. Trade policy, the court said, belongs to the people's representatives. After the ruling, businesses breathed a sigh of relief. The tariffs on lumber and furniture vanished, lowering costs for builders and manufacturers. Prices may not drop overnight, but the pressure eased. Still, supply chains take time to adjust. Some changes may be permanent. The biggest impact: future presidents can't impose sweeping tariffs without Congress. This ruling forces more cooperation and debate in trade policy. But not all presidential tools are gone. Other laws still allow some tariffs. The fight over trade policy isn't over, but the rules have changed. The decision is more a pause than a full stop. Businesses now have more stability, but the global trade chess game continues. The balance of power has shifted, but the story isn't finished. So, what does this mean for you? With tariffs gone, prices for homes, furniture, and renovations should ease, eventually. Household budgets get a break, and businesses can plan with more confidence. More stability means more jobs and investment. Globally, the ruling signals a shift back to predictable, rules-based trade. Trade tensions cool, and relationships with allies improve. The decision is about more than just goods. It's about how America is governed. It reaffirms checks and balances, limiting presidential power over the economy. For Americans, it means a bit more money and a bit more certainty. For the world, it's a sign that America is returning to steadier economic waters.